Oh, that's oh, you know why? Because the default scene only has me, so you can add him to the camera right now. Just go to add. Now I need that link because I just changed it.
Hey, hey, hey. Say you wanna be my baby, yeah. Got that shit that drive me crazy, yeah. Like my phone, you on the main screen. Watch me switch up on these lanes, yeah, yeah. Know that look up in your eyes when I grab you from behind. Get that feeling at your mind, at your mind. We're being on 10 toes. What you need, girl, I'ma get those. Skate night, put that dress on. Connection stronger than Teflon. You don't get these niggas chances, yeah. And I love it when you dancing. If you let me, I'ma do it to you. Don't believe me, let me prove it to you. Man, nigga, yeah, you all cop on the mainstream. Watch me switch up on these lanes like so that look up again and staring at all the fruits that you buried and clevered and couldn't give me a clearer vision of what I've been missing, and that's you. Listen, yeah, I wanna get lost in all of your thoughts and maybe order some food. Wings stop, no Rick Ross. I mean, it's really whatever. And if you stay the night, I might just let you keep the sweater. No time for playing these games. You the others, it just don't feel the same. And when I make it like same, my only feeling is shame. I mean, damn, how many women gotta get it before I get it? Mentally, now think about it. Don't forget it, yeah. I guess I'm missing the point. We gotta run this shit back. Breaking back a headboards got me feeling like Shaq. I mean, damn. Hey. Yeah. Say you wanna be my baby, yeah. Got that shit that drive me crazy, yeah. Like my phone, you on the main screen. Watch me switch up on these lanes, yeah. Know that look up in your eyes when I grab you from behind. Get that feeling at your mind, at your mind. We're being on 10 toes. What you need, girl, I'ma get those. Skate night, put that dress on. Connection stronger than Teflon. You don't get these niggas chances, yeah. And I love it when I dance on. If you let me, I'ma do it to you. Don't believe me, let me prove it to you. Man, nigga, yeah, you all cop, yeah. Say the word and I'm on. Got my fingers locked up. You're right with my left hand. Moved out to the hills, but gang still got weapons. Baby girl, educated, let me teach you a lesson. Nike sent me these, bitch, watch where you steppin'. Anime girl, but real life, you keep shit neat. I meet you gold with the sword, then I clean up with bleach. One for all, to these niggas, all my sippin' tea. I'm total Roki, ice right wrist on the left is the heat. That ball right there was for the nerds and the geeks. But I still make songs for the bros and the freaks. I had to cut some niggas off, they had the mind of belief. Like I'm a Buddhist or a hippie, yeah.
Yo, what is good, yo? You know what's going on. It's me, Daryl, man. Just chilling, and we are back. We are finally back up in the building. And I got my mans, my brother, from the north, from up north. Mark, man, what's good with you?
What's going on, Daryl? Thanks for having me on, brother. Yeah, man, all's good on my end here. Just plowing ahead, man. Hope everything's good with you. It's a nice sunny hot day here in Toronto, so yeah, man, all good here.
Wait a minute, Mark. What's your definition of hot, man? Don't say 50 degrees, bro.
No. Today is probably somewhere maybe like mid-30s with the humidity, so maybe that's not up to your levels down there on the West Coast, but it's pretty warm for here. We get the humidity too, so it's hot, man.
Got you. Now, we took some time off, man. You know, I made that move from across state, from Texas back to California. Cali. I know you were off the grid for a little while, my man. What'd you do on your time away? Is it G14 classified? Can you talk about it?
No, it's all good. Just took a little vacay. Just took a little up north for the week and just relax and decompress and all that stuff, you know. So back on the grind now, so it's all good, man. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Now, Mark, how often do you think it's good to decompress throughout the year? Is this something that you should do multiple times a year, or is like one good time good enough?
For me personally, I don't think one time's good enough. I think, you know, as much as you kind of need it, you know, it sort of depends on your daily grind and sort of what you feel you can, you know, handle, take, and all that. But I think it's a case-to-case thing. But I always, suggest take some time, Daryl, go for a walk, clear your head, get off your phone for a weekend or whatever you can, sort of manage to do.
Yeah.
And really just, disconnect from just nonstop madness we're living in, brother, nonstop. So
Yeah, man. It does seem incessant. It does seem as if it never stops. So I'm with you on that. Speaking of madness, man, you know how we like to kind of jump in with an icebreaker. Just some going on throughout the weekend and throughout the week. What makes, or what do you make, man, of this Kanye Drake beef going on? Is it real? Is it faux? Is it fake? What's going on with it? Have you even thought about it? I know that's your brother from the north. So how you feel about that, man?
Yeah, you know what? I haven't really paid too much attention, to be totally honest with you. But I think it's just a bunch of cats that have too much money, man. And they have nothing better to put their time towards. I mean, I think we've seen this before, have we not? With these two kind of during album time and kind of want to maybe increase the marketing and kind of get the buzz up a little. So I don't know, man. These guys are on a whole different flex, driving around, doing videos. To be honest, I don't pay too much attention to that, but I think it's just some fluff, I think it's just I think it's just some promotion for the albums coming out, in my opinion.
I believe that. Now, to be fair, there is something that we both paid attention to. That was Sha'Carri Richardson's run this weekend. She got cooked, bro. What did you think about that? I know this was a total shock to you. What did you think? What did you gather from that race, post-interview and all?
Yeah, I from a sort of a betting angle, Daryl, I was coming at the angle that, she was on home soil for the last month and a half while the other ladies were obviously at the Olympics and before that they were on the circuit, right? So since middle of May, they've been all sort of just on the grind. So I don't know. I thought, she'd feel a little slighted, and that I thought she'd be better prepared, man. But I think you said it, she got washed, and I think I think she just wasn't prepared for whatever reason. It's not like she just came third or fourth. I mean, she came dead last, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like it was kind of even close. It was just, I mean, she got out terrible and just didn't finish. So I'm not too sure. Maybe it was just a mental game. But yeah, the ladies from Jamaica, I think they heard all the chit chat and obviously with Elaine Thompson running the second fastest time ever, bro. They're showing that no doubt. So. I think they wanted to show that they're still around. They heard the chit chat, and it's not the young lady's time quite yet, I think, Daryl.
Man, Elaine is something nice, man. I think a lot of people, if they didn't know who she was after the Olympics, you had to have known who she was after this Prefontaine Classic, man. So
no, for sure.
She's got a lot of years left in her. My whole takeaway from it was that post-interview was kind of bad. I told my brother she messing up the white money. You know what I'm saying? Because, different sponsors and, some of these people take into how you act into effect, So that's why certain athletes can't get to that upper tier of sponsors or, people willing to give them top dollar for them to wear their product or drive their product or cook their product. If you want to talk about white money, Steph Curry has the white money, LeBron James has the white money. And I use that term as just a more higher tier, a more larger breadbasket, if you will, of people getting larger sponsorship deals. She got $6 million from Nike. I don't know if they're going to kind of pull back. I have no idea what they're going to do here. But now, we didn't come to talk about that. Sports always ends up in our mix because we are two sports guys. But it's back to crypto, man. It's all things crypto. Let's get right into it, man. And one thing, what we can do really quick is just kind of look back at some topics we have spoken about. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been on. We've talked about Dogecoin, Shiba, Baby Doge. We talked about how these coins are made and how they can fail. We've also talked about a rug pull, if you will, how coins really kind of, if anything, dupe their customers, right? They raise the value, they pump a lot of money into it, and then when all that money has come in, they pull the rug, if you will. Anything else we should kind of harp on until we get into these next topics here for today? Anything that you've kind of thought back on that we've spoken about the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, there are a few things actually, and one of them I wanted just to talk about too, Daryl, was kind of just tied into the whole centralized versus decentralized thing.
Okay.
So just a couple of key indicators, I guess, for if you're not sure what's centralized and decentralized, I would say if you can't run your own node, right,
Gotcha.
or it's outsourced to sort of centralized locations, then it's obviously not decentralized. If you're able to reverse transactions, right? Like a bank,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not decentralized, right? The whole purpose of this is peer-to-peer technology, which is what crypto is essentially, right? So if you and I want to send money back and forth, Daryl, through our Bitcoin wallets,
Mm-hmm.
keys, right? Once it goes through and once we've set it on the blockchain, it can't be reversed. Right. So some people might look at that as a bad thing. I don't personally, right? I mean, that's this whole thing is sort of self-custodian of all your assets and your money, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you can reverse the transaction, then it's not decentralized. If they keep coming out with updates, so I know Ethereum just came up with an update recently, and we can just touch on that quickly, right? So in a lot of other cryptos, that's because it's being run by an individual or individuals, Daryl, right? So if they come up, then it's not, it's not decentralized. And moving away to kind of proof of stake, right? And that's just essentially like fiat money version, which gives you stake, that gives you governance priority essentially. So just the difference when people are kind of researching cryptos and centralized and decentralized. So decentralized is kind of how do I say it? Kind of what we're kind of looking at. That's what the more space is kind of built on. It's eliminating that trust that someone's going to do something with your money that they're supposed to do, i.e., a bank or somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is not sort of transactions are not sorted by this, right? It's by kind of math and the programming. So just a few things on that versus centralized and decentralized there, Daryl.
Okay, good stuff. We did talk about wallets. We do understand the importance of our wallets, our public keys and private keys. So we've gone over some information. If you haven't heard, go back to these conversations. We do have them on YouTube, and everything is right there. We've been giving you some golden nuggets, some long-term golden nuggets. May not be that get-rich-quick nuggets, if you will. They are out there. And surprisingly, we are going to start maneuvering to a couple of topics in that later on in the next few weeks. Just some things that I've learned to where if you can catch the right time and know when to take your money out at the right time, you can come up pretty advantageously. You can come up pretty well. So with that said, opening kicker, what did the markets tell you this week, Mark?
I'd say, I'd go back maybe a week and a half or so, Daryl. I would say the last biggest one was kind of the, Ethereum. They successfully implemented their a new update, and it's called the London hard fork.
Yes.
I don't know about the name. I don't think it has anything to do with the city of London or whatnot, but that's kind of what it's called. And that basically is it's sort of like a fee reduction feature. Because apparently there was burning almost like 10K worth of ether every minute since it went into effect. So I think this upgrade to the blockchain of Ethereum was a big step in reducing that fee reduction feature, like I said. So if you think of Ethereum kind of like a highway, this London hard fork is kind of adding like a few lanes of traffic to the standardized kind of road, if you will, the toll prices. So if you can kind of make that sort of analogy. As far as like Bitcoin, I think I think Amazon was rumored to they put out some job postings for like cryptocurrency and blockchain related roles. So I think again that kind of drove a bit of the market as well, Daryl. And I sound like a bit of a broken record here, but it's as time goes on, right? People are realizing more and more that their money is not doing anything for them, or not as much as it was a year ago, etc. So they're looking for alternatives, right? So more people are coming to the market every second, every day, looking for alternatives, way to save their money, protect their wealth. Because, like I said, we keep saying, Daryl, right? Every week here is that you keep it in the bank or you're sitting in a shoebox under your bed, it's just going to depreciate because they just keep printing money, right? So, all these things sort of combined, I think that's kind of what's sort of driving the markets again the last week or so.
Okay. We did see a push in Bitcoin. I mean, it got high. For the US dollar, we had gotten up to 55.01. So we did hit that $50,000 mark. We're now sitting at about 48,316. I know your number is a little more higher because of the currency that you use. What did you think about Bitcoin this week, Mark?
Yeah, Bitcoin's it's on the rise still, right? I think we've seen it dip to a little under 40, and now it's 63, I think here. So that's probably like you were saying, yeah, mid 50s, Daryl, on your end, or lower 50s. Listen, I think more institutions are coming in weekly. More people are getting into the space. We keep talking that folks are realizing that there's only a certain amount of the stuff that's ever going to be made. And again, it's people are spending money and trying to save money, but they're not getting ahead, and then they're wondering why they're not getting ahead when this is the game plan that's been given to us all along, and everyone's kind of realizing, like, you know what, but it's not working though, right? We're not where we are maybe in life, or we're not saving the money we thought, right? So people are looking for alternatives, right? When you run into a brick wall time and time again, people are going to eventually venture out and try to find alternatives. So that's what this whole crypto space does. It provides sort of an alternative, banking system, essentially, Daryl, and things of the space. So, I think Bitcoin's going to keep moving. I think it's, like I said, I think it's closer to 100K, obviously, than zero. More people are getting into the space, realizing it's a good store of value. Companies are putting it on their balance sheet and incorporating it into their everyday products. So, there's a lot of potential still for, and I think we're just going to see the price continue to rise in the near future.
All right, man. Well, so let's talk about it. We got some main topics here that we'll get right into. This is going to be a rapid fire session, if you will, and we're not going to be before you long. I know Mark is still recovering from his, venture out, because that guy just goes. Yeah, I know you go overboard, Mark, when you go out. But
that's me, the wild man. That's me. Yeah.
What is Cardano, and is this coin any good, Mark? Is a question I get a lot. I get this question a lot because we've seen some heavy movement in Cardano over the last week. Now, Cardano's also gone through its updates. There are a couple of guys on YouTube who specifically talk about Cardano and, what they're thinking that this, coin is going to do. Right now, Cardano is legit. It is a great coin. The coin has been around. I just went on Wikipedia, and just the first thing I look at, Mark, tell me if I'm right or wrong, is when a coin is made, that if a coin has been around for several years, then we've gotten past the audits, we've gotten past the white papers, we've gotten past each of those thresholds. It's one threshold to get to a penny, it's another threshold to get to $1, but it seems like once you get past that dollar threshold, everything is smooth sailing. So the answer, Cardano's a good coin. It's a public blockchain platform. It's open source and decentralized, just like you were saying. The coin has been around since 2015, and behold, the coin was actually co-founded by Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Ethereum, or the co-founder, actually. So Cardano was founded by the co-founder of Ethereum, which is Charles Hoskinson. So that gives me, a lot of, breathing room, if you will, to know that you've got a dev team that actually already has a coin or has history with the coin that's the second highest in all of cryptocurrency. So Cardano itself is a good coin to invest in because it's meeting those thresholds. I got into that coin when it was 98 cents. Right now, this coin is sitting at $2.79. Almost got close to $3 just this past weekend. So if you want to know if Cardano is a great coin, it is. It actually right now sits as the number 4 greatest coin with the largest market cap in all of cryptocurrency. So you've got Bitcoin. Right, Bitcoin has cryptocurrency market cap of 856 billion. Ethereum is 357, and this is Hoskinson's. This is his baby here. Binance is 70 billion. You see a huge drop from 357 to 7. And then you've got Cardano sitting at 69 billion in market cap. So Mark, what do you think about this coin? Do you feel that it's a good coin? I know you don't play a lot of coins, but in what you know about Cardano, Do you think it's a good coin?
I think it has potential, Daryl, and to be honest, I have a close friend who's been talking about it for at least 6 months now, and really trying to sort of get me. He's like, dude, like, what's there's no risk really right now, just to kind of get in, right? So, I think really it's really positioned itself, Daryl, as kind of as you kind of touched on briefly, sort of an alternative to Ethereum, essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of considered itself like like an updated version of Ethereum, essentially, over Ethereum's second generation, a level of platform that they're doing. So, I think that with the knowledge of the previous co-founder of Ethereum moving to this, I mean, he has all the inside info, if you will, right? I mean, he knows everything about it.
Right.
So he knows how to get off the ground. Again, my only issue with these centralized one is that an individual or individuals can potentially manipulate how it works, create more coins, etc. But again, not every crypto in the space, Daryl, is meant to do the same thing or designed to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about that a bit in the white paper when we talk about the white papers too, right? So, like I said, I think for any of the ones that are in the space, I think this is probably the safest one and has the potential to really make a splash in the space, to be honest.
All right, so we're segueing right to white papers. Explain that process, Mark. Explain white papers and the process of your coin having white papers and why this is important.
Yeah, for sure. So white papers basically they explain the purpose and the technology behind a project, basically, right? How to promote it and highlight the features of it, etc. So if you think of it as I don't know, like in a like a project management setting, you have 4 phases to a project, right?
Mhm.
Scope, plan, manage, and close. It's sort of the same sort of idea, right? So these white papers are really kind of designed for. So white papers weren't created once crypto came into the space, 10, 12 years ago or whatever. White papers have been designed for business to business marketing purposes, really. So they've been around, essentially. What it does, it explains the purpose and technology, like we talked about with that. So that's for the white paper. Now, the process now, Daryl, for having your coin having white papers. Well, we can start maybe with the most famous white paper of the crypto space, right? And that's the Bitcoin white paper. So the Bitcoin white paper was very clear, concise, and had defined goals from the beginning, right? So a few of them were it's a peer-to-peer system for payments across an online network, essentially, right? So if you and me, Daryl, wanted to exchange, we just need our private keys and we can exchange money, right? We don't need an intermediate in between. We don't need the weekend to pass to make it go through. We don't need someone to okay it. The system okays it, right? That's what's in the algorithms and the math in the system. So it talked about transactions would be irreversible. So we talked about that a bit earlier too, right? It talked about a peer-to-peer like timestamp server. And this would generate essentially mathematical proof of the transactions, right? So that's kind of what the white paper, the Bitcoin white paper talked about, right? So for the process of having your coin having the white papers, it's a critical step, right? It's like, say someone showed up and they were going to do some work on your house, for example, and they showed up with just a friggin' tool belt and a hammer, no plan, no drawing, you know what I'm saying? No nothing. You're going to be like, well, this is not right. Like, you're not going to let the guy start wailing away at your house. You know what I mean? So with these white papers, it's required in the crypto space to basically to be considered legitimate, right? And professional, right? Because it helps people understand it, what you're getting into, right? You're going to say, well, come invest in my coin, Daryl. You're going to say, all right, Mark, so what are we talking about? What are we working with here? And like, I don't know, man. We're just going to you're going to be like, well, what's the plan? Like, what do you have? What's the goals here? What are, So it's the same sort of idea with the crypto space is that exact thing, right? So you kind of need that to kind of start off, and it's kind of the starting process of getting the coins, right? So the white paper could be used to inform other companies and other offerings about the technology, right, and showing them that's why it's superior. So it's not really like a sell, like you're trying to sell it, but you're trying to kind of sell your product, Daryl, right? You're trying to show them like, this is why I believe in it, this is why it will succeed, and this is how we're kind of laying out the groundwork for it to be. So white papers are, like I said, necessary, and it's kind of the first step with crypto, and especially if you're going to be trying to introduce a new crypto completely, it has to be defined goals, purposes, etc., to be taken seriously, right? So
Absolutely. Now, with that, so we've talked about the white papers. Kind of break down the development team that works behind the scenes to get the coin up and running. How do they make it to the market? How does the coin itself make it to the market?
Sorry, I was on mute there, brother. Yeah. So how it makes it? It's something called. So if you play in the stock market at all, something called an IPO, right? Initial public offering. So crypto has the same sort of idea, Daryl, and it's called like an ICO, which is initial coin offering, right? So it's the same sort of idea. So if you want to sort of get your coins to the market, like I said, you're gonna have to start with the white papers, etc. So what these coin papers are, like I mentioned, it's similar to the stock market, is that companies look to raise money, right, to create a new coin or an app or some kind of service. And the ICO, right, the initial coin offering, it needs to find a way to raise the funds, right? So what investors will do is they'll buy into the offering, right, and receive a new crypto token issued by the company, right? So they have the token now. Now the token, it could have some sort of utility in using the product or service that the company is offering, or you could just sort of get a represent sort of a stake in the company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, excuse me, the upcoming coins clearly need to communicate their intended purpose and potential to the investors, as well as to the SEC, which is the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Okay.
Right, which is becoming more involved in the ICOs, this SEC. So if you look at the really big investors, the only thing, Daryl, that are holding really like big companies and people from investing is really this SEC and just that not legality, it's not the right term because it's legal, is that just complete allowance of things to happen where they, put it on your balance sheet. You could, working with tax and stuff like this. So that's really the big hold up with that. So how do you communicate these purposes, which we just said? It's kind of through that white paper, right? So that's how they sort of communicate the purpose to their investors, is sort of lay it out and explain exactly what we're doing here, how we're going to accomplish it, and what sort of the goal is, right? So to get the coin sort of off the ground, you need a team of advisors with experience, obviously, right, in marketing and sort of high-profile investors to give credibility to the project, as well as cryptocurrency, industry insiders. So we just talked about Cardano. So that's a perfect example right there. Is that we had someone with experience. He worked at Ethereum, right? He got it off the ground. He was a second in command or whatever it was. So then he moved, right? So what happens when an individual moves? That knowledge moves with him, right? So what does that mean? Well, it means he knows how to put together a white paper, for example, and how to get the project off the ground quicker, probably. He has connections, right? So he has people probably, in the space that trust him, so they would invest in his coin, his project. So that's kind of the initial coin there, right? So it all starts with the white paper, Dale, right? There's really, that's sort of the opening step, and once you create the white paper, which outlines what the project is about, the need, how we're going to complete it, etc., how much money is needed, how long the campaign will run for, so it's really like you're running like almost a marketing campaign, almost, really. That's what it is, right? So people get hyped about it, and people who are enthusiastic and supporters of the project, they'll buy into some of the tokens, with fiat or other digital currency. you know, and that's to get off the ground. Now, just quickly to finish it off here, Daryl, on the flip side of that, now if the money that you're trying to raise doesn't meet the minimum funds that you're required by, said company, the money could be returned to the backers as well, right? So at that point, the initial coin offering would be deemed unsuccessful, essentially, right?
Right.
So if the funding requirements are kind of met within the specific outlined time frame, the money raised is used to pursue the goals basically of that project to try to reach that. So, as many as coins succeed, 1,000 more fail, right?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
and not just in this space, in every space essentially in life, right? In any business. So, I hope that kind of made a bit of sense there with the ICO stuff.
Hey, you made it sound better than I would make it sound. But yeah, here's a part 2 of that question, and we're going kind of into deep waters here, and I'll bite. 2 questions I get a lot also, Mark, is can you really get rich quick? And what is the process and what do you look for? These questions are a way of telling me that you're just very impatient. So if anything, I will be as neutral as possible. The thing is, yes, you can. You can get rich quick. That is been proven. We've seen people double, triple, quadruple their income just at being at the right time in the right place. We saw Paul Pierce make a killing off of Ethereum Max, and that just turned out to be an entire rug pull. But yes, you can. You absolutely can get rich quick based on how much money you've invested, based on when you've invested that money, and when you pull all your money out. And so that's what has happened with a lot of these coins, and we've talked about that. And if you know the right person who has their ear to the street regarding crypto, who is really heavily invested in relationships with other people who know about crypto, other day traders, other stockholders, this is all one big family, if you will. And just like you know about track and field, and just like I may know about football and basketball, if you know what to look for, then it is indeed a gamble in a highly volatile market, but it is very possible. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes where just a small amount of money was invested and that person came back with over 6 figures in a matter of days and it wouldn't stop climbing. So yes, you can get rich quick. The thing is how do you and what do you look for? I can't tell you that. And the reason why is because it's all about timing and it's all about chance and it's all about who you know, if you ask me. So the first thing you want to look at is your candlesticks, if you will. Look at different forums, look at different subreddits, if you will. Look at different avenues where people are talking about a new coin launching, and then do your due diligence. Because what also ends up happening is that a coin launches with the full intent of it being a rug pull to get your money, to get your wallet, to get access to something, take your money, or at least have you invest in something that has no development backing whatsoever, doesn't have white papers, doesn't have the necessary means, if you will, to take those different thresholds and crush them. Can't get past the penny mark, can't get past the dollar mark. Those are telltale signs that if you haven't invested in the right time, that it could possibly be a rug pull. So like we've said before, invest only what you can afford to lose. Because if you're not hip to this, if your ear is not really locked down and linked into how these markets are moving, how often they're moving, and what coins are coming out to specifically make a change, make an imprint in this crypto market, or just simply take your money, then you're most of the time going to be giving up your money. Most of the time you will be doing so. I'll
just say quickly, Daryl, I think that's a great point, man, and I think that's a real gem you just dropped there, talking about the intent is for them to come grab your money, take it from you, man.
Right.
That they're not all there to help you. They're always, you're always going to get both sides of the fence, right? So I think that's a key point there, is that just like anything else in life, that if you're gonna buy a car, a house, you're gonna cap a game, you're gonna try to get as much information from as many different resources as possible, and this should be no different. So I think that's a good point you just made, and I just wanted to add that there, that they're a lot of them are coming specifically to try to take your money,
Right.
knowing from the beginning that it won't be successful because they're not prepared properly. So I think that's a good point there.
Absolutely. Now, with many people trying to take your money, there are companies that are willing to give you free crypto just by taking classes and kind of learning what's going on. We had touched on this a few weeks ago about Coinbase, the actual Coinbase app, letting you take these little random quizzes and giving you $1 of some type of currency here. You can earn up to about $10, $15. At any rate, I took the time, took about an hour, did all the quizzes. I earned $11 just in learning about the crypto, $11 in said crypto. So I may have, say, $1 worth of Clover, another $3 worth of Polkadot. I converted all that to Bitcoin and turned $11 into $33, right? And that was the money that was given to me. So there are ways to do that. There are ways in which you could go in and essentially just get free crypto. So if you want to invest in crypto, if you're trying to get rich quick, I don't advise it. I mean, it is heavily, volatile, if you will. It's just, this market is not made for the weary, right? So if you can't go and be afraid to lose money, if you don't have the patience to hold while you see those prices drop tremendously, knowing that they're going to come back up at some later time, then I tell you, it's just a gamble, and you're probably doing nothing but raising your blood pressure. So there are some ways that you can gain currency, if you will, or crypto, and turn that in. What I've done is I've taken different quizzes, watched different videos, received free crypto, and just converted it to the top cryptos that are out there right now.
Hey man, listen, that's a smart move, Daryl, because you're turning, you bought in with some, or you didn't even buy actually. Sorry, you got free, if you will, and you turn the crap, if you will, into sort of strong money.
Right.
And I think that's a great idea. And I think just quickly on that, there's also credit cards right now where you can get paid back. Instead of points, you can get paid back in crypto.
Wow.
So like you said, there's tons of ways now, and that's what I'm saying. That's how sort of entrenched this crypto space is into everyday life now. Is that it's being offered in credit cards, but instead of points, you're getting back crypto now instead. Right? Things like that. So listen, it's there's lots of ways. And you know what? We're talking about get rich quick there. So my thing is, okay, you get rich quick, right? But then what do you do with the money though? Like what are you gonna invest it in? You're not gonna leave it in cash, right?
Right.
Are you gonna put it into some other crypto or real estate or art, or like what are cats doing? I'm down. I'm open to listen too, but I'm just thinking, okay, you get rich quick. What are you going to do with it though? Where are you going to be invested? Because we talked about this a couple episodes ago, Daryl, or maybe the last one. If you just leave it sitting there, it's going to go to waste. You might as well just burn it, man.
Right. Absolutely.
Long term, right? So you get rich quick, and then okay, what's your next flip though? What do you what's the next? Like, is it real estate? Is it gold? Is it anything you can get rich quick, I guess, right? But like I said, this is well, for us anyway, and I'll speak for you, and correct me if I'm wrong. But this is more long term for our family, security, stuff like that, right? So, but absolutely, you can hit it big and get in at the right time, like some folks who did. So,
Mark, what are some of your indicators? And we're just about done here, but what are some indicators that force you or kind of tells you, you know what, maybe I should sell this crypto?
Yeah, that's a great question. I have like three good points I think here, Daryl, and I'll go through them kind of quickly. So, the first one is that when people get in, is that you hit your goal.
Mm-hmm.
You hit your mark, right? So I think that's when people tend to sell too, right? So if the market reaches sort of a certain time high, all-time high or whatnot, you would consider selling, right? So if you've achieved your goal, essentially. Another reason is that, and you just said it a few minutes ago, Daryl, is about this is not for the sort of weary of heart, right? So if you're having like anxiety over your investment, right, I would say, maybe it might not be for you, right? So sometimes these crypto charts, Daryl, as you know, brother, they look like toddler artistic, they just drew with a friggin' crayon on the wall somewhere, right in your house, man. It's just all up, and you're like, what the heck is this, right? So prices jump, they go down, they change. They're unpredictable. It's volatility. It's a living thing, man. Listen, if something's not volatile to me, it's dead almost, man. I mean, life's volatile, brother. You know what I mean? So, sending your kids to school with the promise that you're going to get a job and you come out $100,000 in debt, to me, that's volatile. You know what I mean? It's the ups and downs could cause some people anxiety, and I think that might be a little too much. So, if you're getting up at like 3 in the morning and you can't sleep every day because you're worrying about your investment, that might be an indicator as well, I think, right?
Absolutely.
And the last quick thing I'll just say, Daryl, is, and we just kind of said it as well, is that the grass is greener on the other side, so to speak, right? Maybe you found something else that's kind of better, that's maybe yielding you more positive results than you're currently getting, for example. And then we talked about doing your due diligence, right, for that other coin. The same thing that we've reached our goal, maybe you've hit your loss limit, right? So maybe your bankroll is X, and you said, okay, well, I've hit my goal, I'm going to get out. But on the flip side, maybe you're kind of at the bottom, if you will, where you've lost limit, like, man, I can't, I got to get out now, right? So, or the price is continually sort of going down sort of steadily over time. So I think those are kind of 3 indicators. And again, unless someone comes out and says the internet's crashing and going down forever, then I think not only crypto, I think a lot of other things are kind of dead after that. But I think in the volatile markets, those are 3 points that I feel, Daryl, are kind of indicators. So number 1, that you reach your goal. Number 2, you're kind of having anxiety because the volatility and it's up and down, and you might not be able to sort of take it, I guess, right? Or you've kind of found something else that's more bang for your buck, and maybe some friends or family that are invested in this, and they're seeing sort of better results in a number of areas. So that's what I would say is sort of three indicators.
Okay, that sounds good, man. Those are really good indicators there. I like what you had to say about knowing how much you can lose with your bankroll, because if we do tie that into handicapping, which we're closely associated with, that's really good advice. Have a measure how much you can lose and stick to that number. And if you found yourself getting close to that number, get out of it. Don't be afraid to get out of it. Don't be afraid to lick your wounds and try to start over. But don't ever get to that point of no return to where, and I've been there. I'm just going to share that. I've been there to where I've had a bottom number mark. And I said, you know what? Everything is indicating that this is going to turn around, and it didn't. And I got to that point of no return to where it was just I had to stay in for the long run at that point. So it does happen. That's really good advice. And just if anything, that's probably one of the most important ones is gauge how much you can lose, stick to that number. And when you start getting close to that number, man, do not be afraid to pull your investment out and at least recalibrate and see what's going on with the markets and then invest back into it.
Definitely. Yeah, because you don't want to, you're not going to like worry about like looking bad because you pull it out. No, you're doing the smart thing actually. It's only going to get worse type thing. So, I think we talk every show, Daryl, that only invest what you can lose, right? I think that's pretty common advice, I think, right? So, if you see it's going down, it's okay. Just suck it up, mark it up to a bad investment or a bad whatever, just and keep it moving, man. There's plenty ample opportunity out there. So if one is not doing it for you, look for something that might be better for you. And don't be afraid to kind of get out and worry about, you're going to look like this, or maybe some people think like that. But no, you're protecting your investment. So it's better to minimize your losses, right?
Absolutely. That's good there. Now, just to recap, we talked about mainly Cardano today since that's making a lot of noise. There's nothing but upside for Cardano right now. Like I said, I got into this when it was under $1. It's now sitting at $2. It got as high as $2.91. It's down to about $2.79 now. There's nothing but good things coming out for Cardano. We'll go into detail about what they're doing, but they've also launched, there's things to come here next month. That's going to probably get them past that next threshold. So Cardano is a good cryptocurrency to invest in. We talked about the importance of having white papers, the importance of a good development team, the also importance really of knowing that you can get rich, but it takes a lot of due diligence. And also that process and what you look for and just the trends, being a part of different forums and different conversations, different YouTube channels that talk about, what to look out for. There are guys who can read this market very well. Just like you can read what a sprinter is going to do, Mark, there are guys who understand how market cap works, who understands how the cryptos work, and they're able to make smart moves on this. So if you're looking at coins now, just moving forward, that you should be investing into, I give you the top 10 right now. Besides, you've got Bitcoin, you've got Tether, or Tether, if you will. That's a new one, or not new one, but that's another big one right under Cardano. You've got Cardano, you've got Binance, you've also got XRP. That's coming in at a little over $1, so it's beat that dollar threshold. So if you're looking at another coin, XRP is one with 52 billion in market cap. Dogecoin is quietly starting to become more and more relevant. They have 40 billion in market cap right now. They haven't hit that dollar mark, but if they hit that dollar mark, that is something to watch out for. For whatever reason, they're not getting down under 20. They got down bad along with all the other cryptocurrencies, several months ago or so, where we just saw this big dip. Speaking of which, we still haven't seen Bitcoin hit the $20,000 mark, right? So it's still going up. And so these are all good signs. So look at Dogecoin, look at XRP, look at USD coin, look at Polkadot. Polkadot sitting at about $27 now. So these are all different currencies that are meeting different thresholds, that are becoming relevant, and they have a solid development team behind them. And so be on the lookout for that, I would say, as far as these coins probably making some major moves, especially this push at the end of the year. We're still thinking that Ethereum is going to hit in the 20, 30, 40,000s. Bitcoin is going to hit in the 100K, 200K mark. This is all promising, and the signs are really good at this point. Mark, before we get out of here, is there anything else that you want to harp on? Anything else that you would like to add on to this great discussion that we've had, man?
Glad we're able to do this again, Daryl, and I look forward to continuing. Glad everything went well with your move and that you're getting situated out on the West Coast.
Yes.
I hope everything works out for you, brother. Like I said, we'll keep pushing through with some info for the people. And again, we're not trying to come at a super deep level. We're just trying to come at it from an intro level and explain it in ways that people can understand it on sort of a basic level, right? They kind of, someone said before that, if you can't explain something at the simplest level in basically 5 minutes, then you don't know it well enough, So sometimes people want the big explanation to kind of to be sold to, give me the technical and stuff. And when you scale back this crypto thing, it is really pretty straightforward. In hindsight, like most technology is, right? Everything seems like it's difficult at first, but when you look back, it's just bing, bing, bing. That's really kind of what it is. So again, it's keep doing your due diligence, keep your eyes open. Highly suggest to start investing in the space, as we've said all along, Daryl. We believe it's not going away. It's only here to stay. So people are just still coming into the space and just trying to familiarize yourself with it and get a full understanding. So the younger folks, I think they're really getting into it. They're not sort of like how their parents did or whatnot. And it's a different world, Daryl, man. And we're trying to explain that it's a paradigm shift is what's happening now. That's what it is. It's a separate banking system from the traditional banking system. It's people who can exchange money over a network, similar to an email, right? So I think when people start to grasp it and what's it really about, it's just be a flood of people coming into it. So glad we're in it, glad we're talking about it. We just keep pushing forward and sharing the knowledge and learning along the way.
Absolutely, man. I'm really happy to be a part of it. And yeah, this show is for the people who are just getting into it, because I'm learning as I go along. So this isn't, if you want to get to the real technical savvy part of things, there is FinTalk, financial TikTok, and those guys are killing it. But if you just kind of want to know what gets this, train moving, if you will, this is the right place for you. We're going to give you sound advice, and we are going to give you the best advice and trust you. The advice that we're giving to you, we're invested into this. Our money is staked into this as well. So it's my job that we try to make as much money as possible and not lose any. So if there is a cryptocurrency that's doing well, something that's meeting all those thresholds, I'm going to definitely talk to you about it. But with that said, on the next show, we will get into Cardano again. We'll look at the markets, discuss more on Bitcoin, and then let's see if we can pull some more information out, Mark. How about that, brother?
Sounds good, Daryl. Look forward to it, my man.
Yes, sir. On another note, man, thank you for coming out, Mark. It's always good to have you, man. I appreciate it.
Likewise, brother. Likewise. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you, man. And until then, we will see you in a couple of days. Y'all be cool.
Hey, hey, hey. Say you wanna be my baby, yeah. Got that shit that drive me crazy, yeah.